Ever felt overwhelmed, anxious, or under constant pressure? Well, you might have experienced stress. Stress is that unwelcome guest that often barges in uninvited. It's a universal experience, something every single one of us has faced at some point. Stress is essentially our body's response to any demand or threat, big or small. When we sense danger, whether it's real or imagined, our body's defenses kick into high gear in a rapid, automatic process known as the fight or flight stress response. It's what kept our ancestors alive, and it's still keeping us on our toes today. Common causes of stress can range from major life changes and work responsibilities to relationship difficulties and financial worries. Even daily hassles like traffic jams or waiting in long queues can trigger stress. Stress is as inevitable as the sunrise, but remember, it's not the stress that breaks you down, it's how you respond to it. Stress is a normal part of life, but how it's managed can make all the difference. The stress response, also known as fight or flight, is our body's natural reaction to perceived threats. When we sense danger, whether it's real or imagined, our body's defenses kick into high gear in a rapid, automatic process known as the stress response. Let's break this down a bit. The stress response begins in the brain. When a threat is perceived, the amygdala, an area of the brain that contributes to emotional processing, sends a distress signal to the hypothalamus. Acting as the command center, the hypothalamus communicates to the rest of the body through the nervous system. This system is a complex network that controls various bodily functions, and it has two components: the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system functions like a gas pedal in a car. It triggers the fight or flight response, providing the body with a burst of energy so that it can respond to perceived dangers. It prompts the adrenal glands to release a surge of hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol. Adrenaline is the emergency hormone that prepares your body for vigorous muscular action. It increases heart rate, blood pressure, and energy supplies. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, curbs functions that would be non-essential in a fight or flight situation. It alters immune system responses and suppresses the digestive system, the reproductive system, and growth processes. This complex natural alarm system also communicates with brain regions that control mood, motivation, and fear. Now, once the perceived threat has passed, the parasympathetic nervous system acts like a brake. It promotes the rest and digest response that calms the body down after the danger has passed, reducing the heart rate and lowering blood pressure. So, the stress response is a survival mechanism, but chronic activation can have serious consequences. When activated too often or for too long, the stress response can take a toll on your body, leading to numerous health problems such as heart disease, sleep problems, digestive issues, depression, obesity, and memory impairment. Therefore, understanding how our bodies respond to stresses can be a key step in managing our stress levels and overall health. So what happens when stress becomes a constant companion in our lives? Well, the body doesn't respond well to these uninvited guests. Imagine this. Your body is a city, and stress is an unwelcome visitor that overstays its welcome. The longer this visitor stays, the more havoc it wreaks on your city. Let's start with the physical toll. Chronic stress can lead to a myriad of health issues. It's like a domino effect. It starts with the body's fight or flight response, which releases a surge of hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol. Adrenaline increases your heart rate, blood pressure, and energy supplies. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, curbs functions that would be non-essential in a fight or flight situation. Now, this response is highly efficient for handling short-term threats. But when stress becomes chronic, the body remains on high alert. Over time, this can lead to serious health problems like hypertension, heart disease, diabetes, obesity, and even certain types of cancers. But the effects of chronic stress aren't just physical. There's a significant mental and emotional toll as well. The constant onslaught of stress hormones can overwork your brain's fear center, known as the amygdala. This can edge out the brain's ability to regulate mood, leading to mental health issues such as depression and anxiety disorders. Moreover, chronic stress can cause emotional exhaustion, leading to feelings of hopelessness and helplessness. It can make you irritable, unable to concentrate, and even affect your memory. It's like being stuck in a never-ending traffic jam, and you just can't find your way out. So, it's not just about feeling a little tense or overwhelmed. Chronic stress can fundamentally alter your physical and mental health, changing the very landscape of your body and mind. It's like that unwelcome visitor turning your city into a war zone. Clearly, chronic stress is not something to be taken lightly. Scene script. Understanding stress is one thing, but how can we identify what triggers it in our own lives? We all know that life is full of ups and downs, twists and turns, but how can we pinpoint the exact moments that make our hearts race and our minds whirl? The answer lies in understanding your stress triggers. These are the situations, people, places and thoughts that kickstart your stress response. Stress triggers are as diverse as we are. For some, it might be a looming deadline at work or an upcoming public speaking event. For others, it might be a crowded room, a difficult conversation, or even the thought of a past traumatic event. The key here is that stress triggers are personal. What might send one person into a tailspin might not affect another at all. But how do you identify your own stress triggers? Well, it starts with self-awareness. Pay attention to your body and your emotions. When do you feel your heart rate quicken? When do you start to feel anxious or overwhelmed? These could be signs that you've encountered a stress trigger. Keep a stress diary. Jot down what you were doing, who you were with, and how you felt when you noticed your stress levels rising. Over time, patterns may emerge that can help you identify your stress triggers. Another method is to practice mindfulness. This involves staying present in the moment, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Mindfulness can help you notice when certain thoughts or situations trigger your stress response. Remember, it's not about eliminating these triggers altogether. That's usually not possible or even desirable. After all, some stress can be beneficial. It can motivate us, keep us focused, and even boost our performance. The goal is to understand what causes your stress, so you can better manage it. Maybe it's about avoiding certain situations, or perhaps it's about developing better coping strategies. But you can't do that until you know what you're dealing with. Knowing your triggers is the first step in effective stress management. Now that we understand stress and its triggers, what can we do about it? Well, the good news is that there are plenty of strategies out there to help manage stress. Let's dive into some of them. First up, exercise. This might seem like an obvious one, but it's worth emphasizing. Physical activity releases endorphins, our body's natural mood elevators. So whether it's a brisk walk, a vigorous workout, or just a stretch break in your office, moving your body can help shake off stress. Next, let's talk about mindfulness. This is all about staying present and focused, rather than letting your mind wander to stressful thoughts. It could be as simple as taking a few deep breaths, practicing yoga, or even meditating. Mindfulness helps to reduce stress by calming the mind and body, and by helping you become more aware of your thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. Now, onto healthy eating. What we put into our bodies can have a significant impact on our stress levels. Certain foods, like those high in sugar or caffeine, can exacerbate stress, while others, like fruits, vegetables and lean proteins, can help to mitigate it. So think about making some simple swaps in your diet, like reaching for an apple instead of a candy bar when you need a snack. Of course, these are just a few of the many strategies out there for managing stress. Others might include getting enough sleep, taking time for hobbies and relaxation, or seeking support from friends and family. The key thing to remember here is that managing stress is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's about finding what works best for you and incorporating that into your routine. So, don't be afraid to try out different strategies and see what resonates with you. You might be surprised at what you discover about yourself in the process. Remember, managing stress is about finding what works best for you. So, we've taken a deep dive into the world of stress. We began by exploring what stress is, that natural biological response designed to protect us from threats. But, as we discovered, too much stress or chronic stress can have serious effects on our bodies, from headaches and sleep problems to more serious conditions like heart disease. From there, we moved on to the importance of identifying stress triggers. By pinpointing what causes stress in our lives, we gain the power to proactively manage and mitigate it. And finally, we discussed some effective strategies for managing stress. These included physical activities like exercise and yoga, mental techniques such as mindfulness and meditation, and lifestyle changes like improving diet and sleep habits. Remember, knowledge is power. The more we know about stress, the better equipped we are to keep it in check. While stress is a part of life, it doesn't have to control your life. Until next time, stay resilient and stress-free.